Helps if I turn on the interface. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Cassandra?
I'm good. I'm good. I was sitting here jamming. I had to tell, I don't want to say her name to be quiet.
Cassandra, you're here every week. What's going on?
I'm trying to learn. I'm just trying to be that sponge and absorb everything you have to give. That's all.
I love it.
But I'm trying to be like you when I grow up.
Like me.
I'm just trying to get in that lane.
No, you don't want to be like me.
I do. Oh my gosh, I do.
I'm no good.
Yeah, I want to be as no good as you are, though.
Whoa.
That's what
Whoa
the goal.
there. There's not enough room in the world for that. What's going on here?
How's your week?
Really good. Really good, actually. I've been getting a ton of stuff done today. So I live in Philadelphia. I don't know if you know that or not.
No,
But
I didn't.
I'm a landlord. Is one of my businesses. Is I run a couple of different properties, and today I was tracking down a violation that was supposed to be handled when I did my taxes, and it wasn't handled. And I think that like Philadelphia has this thing where they're like, okay, let's get some websites for people to do the stuff that they need to do with us. But the
Mhm.
domain names that they pick are like the most obscure, ridiculous, like doesn't even have anything to do with like they can't get paymywaterbill.com,
Oh,
or renewmyrentallicense.com. Like you got to go to like ework.phila.gov/org_education/ like one,
too
two, three,
much.
four, five.
But
I'm like, why is this so difficult? And then every website that they have has 872 prompts and like an encyclopedia of text on there. I'm like, you can't just put a big button at the bottom that says pay now, or,
oh, okay,
you
okay.
know?
That's like common sense, especially they have so many great websites out there that they could, kind of tailor themselves after.
Exactly.
But
All the tax dollars I'm paying, this is the best they can do.
exactly. So that's so sad. That is so
Oh, it's the worst. It just drives me
yeah.
nuts doing that. So I decided I'm shutting down the Make Money and Have Fun Mastermind. I'm starting a new business where I educate people on the municipalities that they live in. And I'm charging $1 million a head, and everybody will pay it because it's so dang important.
Okay, so wait a minute. So let me guess. This is that think forwarding technique. You're visualizing it before you get it done, right? How you're going to execute that.
So, I mean, for me, it was really like a process of, I wish they taught me this in school. I wish they taught me which websites to go to, what buttons to click on, and how to navigate all this nonsense. Because
Oh,
I am
God.
so lost. And so then I said, what if I made a school that only taught this stuff? How important would that be?
Oh, goodness. The value. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, I've just been trying to keep up on reading. Well, actually trying to catch up on everything.
Mhm.
So like all the reading, trying to get that done. I'm trying to load up all the important websites on my computer. Just trying to start growing.
Sure.
So I think I'll be ready to hopefully get my first property in a couple of weeks here.
There you go.
So we'll see. We'll see about that.
What's going on, Ariel? Unmute your microphone, say hello if you can. Some people are coming in from work.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. What's going
Okay.
on?
Not much.
What brings you here tonight? Besides hanging out with me.
I don't know how closely I read the description, but making money, right?
This is knitting class. We're gonna knit sweaters together.
Okay, perfect.
I'm kidding. Yes, I run a company called Make Money and Have Fun, as you can see right over here. And I run a mastermind. That's super cool. And one of the things that I do every week is I just serve, right, Cassandra?
Absolutely. While we're knitting the sweaters, he
I love
gives
it.
information. Yes, ma'am.
Cassandra is my #1 raving fan. She has been here every single week since I started this about, what has it been, 3 weeks, 4 weeks now? I think this is the third week that we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, third or fourth week, something like that. And what's it been like so far, Cassandra?
It's really good information. So it helps put you in the mind frame of not where you would normally think to make money. But I think about the first example that you used with the guy, how to, I don't want to say be a player, but it was a book. Um, okay, so anyway,
She's taking notes. That's good stuff.
I'm flipping through. So anyway, just putting yourself in the mind frame of, okay, how am I going to step outside of my box? I need to think more, have more forward thinking than where I'm at now, and try to get you out of that little hole. So, well, me out of my little hole anyway.
Sure, definitely. Yeah. I mean, last week we talked about financial fulfillment. And, you know, I often call myself, or I'm called by people, a financial fulfillment expert. And it's funny because a lot of people think that it has to do with money. And the smallest part of it has to do with money. Here's the perfect example. For 15 years, I was a martial artist. I did karate since I was 7 years old. And I also was an instructor for about 5 years. And everybody thinks that karate or martial arts or whatever you think of is about kicks and punches. Well, kicks and punches are the smallest piece of karate. It's about the character qualities and really the personal development. We were saying the same stuff when I taught classes that Tony Robbins talks about in his seminars. And so it's the same thing with me today is, you know, I'm this financial fulfillment expert, and I can talk to you about arbitrage. I can talk about rental properties and real estate. I can talk about money and lines versus loans, assets and liabilities, all these different things having to do with money. But that's really not what it's about. I thought it was about that at first. And we're going to get into that a little bit more. I'm going to tell you my story this week. This week is about answering the big question, or more specifically, your big question, right? What is that thing, that why, that thing that's driving you? Because for me, it was kind of interesting. I went to a bunch of different places. I tried out all this different stuff. And I even recently, like within the past 6 months or so, had like 6 businesses going on. I had like a branding business. I had a one-on-one coaching business. I had a book writing business that I was doing. I had a mastermind that I was trying to do. I had all these different things going on, and nothing was working. And now that I've eliminated everything and focused on the thing that answers my question for me and that I want most, now it's starting to pick up. Now it's starting to get some traction going in. JW is hanging out with us today. I love that every week these are small groups. It's really cool for 2 reasons. Number one, that means that all of you are getting in on the ground floor. That means that all of you are overachievers. When we used to do in-person meetings, anybody remember in-person meetings? Hands to the camera if you remember in-person meetings. Those things, they happened like long time ago. When I used to do in-person meetings, I would always say, this was my line. I said, listen, I'm not going to force anybody to do anything tonight, but I'm just saying overachievers sit in the front row. You ever notice that, Cassandra? You ever notice that when you go to a seminar where, there's some business mogul or whoever speaking, mostly everybody runs right to the back of the room. I'm like, you spend $3,000 on your ticket. You spend $500 on an airline. You spend $150 a night on your hotel, and you came here and you sat in the last row.
Like, yeah, you don't want to get put on the spot.
Right. Right. And me, I'm the opposite. I always sit front and center. I sit right in the front and like make faces at the speaker the whole time. Like I'm that guy. I want to get everything out of it that I can. And it's true. It's really true. Overachievers sit in the front row, right? There's LIFO and there's FILO, right? LIFO is last in, first out. How many people know someone like that? Hands to the camera if you know someone like that. That's always the last person to enter the room and the first person to leave the room. That was me in school. I was LIFO because school didn't work for me. It didn't resonate with me. It wasn't the thing that I wanted. It wasn't the path that I was going to go down. And then there's Philo, which is first in, last out, right? That's what we're trying to build. Trying to build this life of Philo where whatever we're doing, we're the first person to jump on it. And it's the last thing that we ever want to leave, right? Michaela, what's up? I think it's Michaela. I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but what's going on? We got some cool people here. It's about 3 after 6 on my end because I am Eastern time. I don't know about everybody else, but I am on Eastern time. So let's wait like 2 more minutes and then we'll jump into it. If you don't already have your Make Money and Have Fun blueprint, make sure you get it. So for those of you that don't have it, I'm going to let you know in the chat box. So just send the word blueprint, the text message blueprint to my number. So it's 215-596-1515. I'm putting it in the chat box now. Text the word blueprint and I'll send it right over to you. It'll come directly to you. So just text the word blueprint to that number. And that's my direct line. It's not going to go to my team. I'm not going to, spam you with text messages or anything like that. That's just, it's going to send it right over to you. You'll have it that way and you'll be good to go. Because we're going to be going through my Make Money and Have Fun blueprint today, specifically the first step of it. And let me actually bring it up on my end, just so we're good to go. Let me make sure. All right, I got one person to text it in. Let us know that it's working. Boom. All right, cool. So that works. So you got your blueprint now. And then let me pull it up over here. Dude. And here it is. All right, another person has got their blueprint. Make sure you have the blueprint. If you don't, just text the word blueprint to 215-596-1515. All right, let me move this over to here. All right, we are good to go. Look at us. We got the 4 overachievers in here with us this week. So what are we talking about? So the topic this week is answering your big question. So Cassandra knows this. She's been hanging out with me for the past 3 weeks. We've been talking about something. The first week, we talked about the number 1 key to all success, which is purposeful immersion. We talked about the 5 steps to financial fulfillment last week. And really what I did was I broke down what financial fulfillment is. Financial fulfillment has the smallest amount to do with money and everything to do with you. See, here's what happened for me. I want to take you through the journey that I went through. When I was 17 years old, let's start back at 17, long time ago. For me, it was actually less than 10 years ago. When I was 17 years old, I was in school, and throughout school, I struggled. I was a C&D student my whole life in school. Who can relate? Hands to the camera if you were a C&D student, struggled in school, had that kind of stuff going on. Some of us maybe not so much, right? But either way, I recognized that school was not a good fit for me. It didn't really work until I was 17 years old and I took a class entitled entrepreneurship. And here's the funny thing about entrepreneurship. I didn't even know what that word meant when I took the class. The only thing that I knew was I knew that this was a business course because the prior year, the title, the name of the course was actually general business. And they changed the name the year that I took it to entrepreneurship. So I said, I've never taken a business course before. Let me see what this is all about. And as soon as I took it, I fell in love with it. I was like, whoa, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And from there, I just basically have been on this journey through entrepreneurship, through my own business endeavors to kind of try to figure out what it was I wanted to do with my life. What's going on, Brian? Good to see you. So I tried a whole bunch of different things. At first, like I mentioned earlier, I was a karate instructor and I did martial arts since I was 7 years old. And that was kind of cool. Couple issues with that. One, for me, it became like almost like too much ice cream. You ever have one of those moments before where you're like, this is good, but I can only have so much of it at once? And so I kind of dialed it back and I said, you know what, I'd rather do this as a hobby as a thing that I train in as opposed to a career with it. And then from there, I went into real estate investing because I read this amazing book when I was about 18 years old called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it changed my life. Anybody else read that book before? Hands to the camera if you've read that book. Excellent. Some of us have. I love it. So that book changed my life. It taught to me, it showed me the difference between assets and liabilities. I learned about finances and financial literacy, and I learned about real estate investing. I said, wow, this real estate investing thing is phenomenal. This is crazy. You mean I can just buy a rental property, rent it out, stabilize it, get it up and running, and then all I got to do is just wait for the checks to come in every month? And the answer is, yeah, absolutely. That is what I had to do. So that's what I started doing. I started learning real estate investing. And as I got into that business, I realized something else. I realized that one, business is a lot harder than I thought it was. Reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad made business sound pretty easy, right? All I got to do is buy a property, rent it out, and buy another one, right? That's it. That's all I got to do. Not that simple, especially when you're buying properties in the city of Philadelphia like I am, which I was talking to Cassandra about earlier. So if you see the dent in my head, that's from banging my head on my desk earlier today, trying to deal with the city of Philadelphia and my rental property over there. Anyway, I realized a couple of things. Around the winter of 2018, I basically watched my small real estate empire that I had built come burning down around me because I did a lot of stuff right, and I did a lot of stuff not so right as well. And I also had a little bit of Murphy's Law hit me where everything that could have gone wrong went wrong in about a 3-month period. So I found myself out of money, flat broke, and really in a place where, one, I needed income, but two, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. Because as I rebuilt it and climbed back up in 2019 and 2020, at first my thought was, oh, I'm just going to jump back into real estate. I'll just, do it right this time. I'll learn from my mistakes and I'll move forward. But I said, real estate didn't really fulfill me the way I thought it would. It didn't really light me up the way that I had initially intended, or the way that I thought I expected it was going to go. And I started looking at it and I said, should I pivot here? Should I try something new? Around this time, I was, 24, 25 years old. And, obviously not super old, not super obligated. I don't have kids or a wife or any kind of obligations and responsibilities in that regard. But still, for me, it was this idea of I've built up a skill set in something to a certain level. And now I want to start something completely new where I have no skill set, in essence, in that thing, and build that from scratch. Because now I learned how hard it is to build a business, right? It's not as easy as just go open up a store somewhere and sell your knickknacks, whatever it is you're selling. You sell pens at your store, right? You got to bring people in. You got to market. You got to do all these things for your business to operate correctly. And so I decided that, yes, I'm going to let go of the real estate in a sense. I still invest in real estate. I still have an investor mind. I still like parts of real estate investing. There's parts that I hate as well. But I didn't want to be Fred Posimo, the real estate investor, anymore. I wanted to be Fred Posimo something else, right? I wanted to have this forward-facing business and do investing on the back end. And so I realized that I had a skill and a talent at public speaking. And I also realized that I really liked and was passionate about teaching. I was good at public speaking and I liked teaching. So I said, why don't I become a coach? Why don't I start teaching people the things that I've learned in real estate, the things that I've learned in financial literacy, the character qualities and the traits that I learned as a martial arts instructor, the business skills that I've picked up going through my own experiences. Why don't I start teaching those to others? And this was really the straw that broke the camel's back for me. So let me walk you through this. So I went to a seminar, really small, intimate seminar, about 12 people at that seminar. And there was a bunch of different speakers that went up. And one of the speakers went up, and before he went up to the stage, he actually grabbed a pad of Post-it notes, just like this one. And he gave each attendee, each audience member, a sticky note. He gave us one sticky note. And he goes up to the front of the stage, and this is literally his whole keynote. I don't have a microphone, so I'm going to use a pen as the microphone. This is it. This is the whole thing. He goes, what I want you to do with that sticky note that I just gave you, in 4 words or less, describe who you are and what you do. What defines you as a person? And that was it. Mic drop, off the stage. That's it. And so I'm sitting there with this Post-it note in front of me. I said, I need to come up with 4 words that really exemplify me and tell you who I am. What's going on, Marco? Good to have you here, man. And
Hey, nice to see you.
what's going on? And so the first 2 words that I wrote down were make money, because that was what I knew. That was the field that I was in. I was steeped in financial literacy. I'd read dozens of books. I had hired coaches and mentors and learned about investing in real estate and arbitrage and debt and all these different instruments and tools when it comes to money. But I said, you know what? That's not enough. Everybody says on a surface level that they have a money goal. Lots of people do this. Say, oh, what's your goal? I want to make $100,000 this year. What's your goal? I want to be a millionaire. What's your goal? I want to make X amount of money, right? They have these money goals. But really, money is a byproduct. And money also, here's the funny thing about money. Money is useless. Let me give you a visual aid here to demonstrate, right? This is a $1 bill. Everybody's seen one of these before. This dollar bill is absolutely useless and worthless. I can't do anything with this. This dollar is no good to me until what happens? Until I get rid of it, until I exchange it for something else. If I need this pen and this pen costs me $1, I need to get rid of that $1 to get the thing that brings me value. Does that make sense to everybody? Right? Money, the actual tender, the dollars and cents, is useless. It's worthless. This is nothing. I mean, it's not even a paperweight. I can't use this for anything. I need to get rid of it to get value from it. That's the thing about money that most people misunderstand. Most people who say they have money goals, they really don't have money goals. They have a byproduct of money goals, right? Because if you ask them what's your goal and they say, oh, I want money. Then I ask them another question. Say, what do you want the money for? Then they'll tell you what they really want. They really want to open up an orphanage to end world hunger, or they want to start a business, or they want to buy a big house or a fancy car, or they want to be validated on stages around the world, right? Whatever these things are that they want from that, right? Or maybe it's something simple, like I want peace of mind at the end of every month, because right now I'm paycheck to paycheck, and if I can make an extra $100 a month, I will feel better. And that feeling was the thing that stuck in my head. I wrote my first book when I was 21 years old, and I put a quote in there, and the quote says, everybody on the face of this planet is ceaselessly in search of one thing and one thing only: a feeling. We're all looking for a feeling. What is success? Success is a feeling. It's a feeling that we consider to be greater than any other feeling out there, the pinnacle of all feelings. Now, what is that? It looks different for everybody, right? That could mean having a big house or a lot of cars. That could mean traveling all year long. That could mean having nothing, right? Minimalism could be your thing that's success to you, right? Whatever it looks like, it manifests itself in different ways, but the feeling is what we're all in search of. So now I'm sitting here with this Post-it note in front of me, and it says, make money on it. But I said, make money is not enough, right? We need the money. We need the money to create the things that we want to create, to transact for those things. That's why make money is there. That's why it's first in this phrase, right? Make money is first, because money is the necessary transactional tool that we need to create that feeling for ourselves, to get us to that level of success that we're all aspiring to get to, whatever that might look like, right? If you want to get a whole bunch of cars, which will feel like success to you, you need money to transact for the cars. It's the economic system that we live in America, right? That's just the way it works. So I looked around and I said, there needs to be 2 more words on here. Because remember, he said 4 words, right? Not 2, not 3, but 4 words I needed to get on here. And so what I was doing was I was looking for these other 2 words. And I said, you know what? What's the easiest way that I can kind of create this and make this work on here? And the other 2 words that came out were have fun. Because another way of saying success, in my opinion, is have fun, right? And that's where really make money and have fun was born at that point. And here's the funniest part. I have it written down on this Post-it note now at this point. And I put a Facebook post up. If you're not friends with me on Facebook, by the way, send me a friend request on Facebook. I'm super active over there. You'll see me posting all the time. And I just love hanging out with people over there. So just type my name in on Facebook, Fred Posimo, right there. You'll find me. I'll accept you on there and we can hang out over there. But I put a post up and the funniest thing happened. It got all this engagement. I forget even what I said. I said like, hey, I'm Fred Posimo. I'm going out to make money and have fun today. Something like that. And it got all this engagement. And then I made another post. And then I made another post. And then a couple of weeks later, I noticed that not only were people engaging with it, were they resonating with it, but they were associating me as the make money and have fun person. And I was like, man, I think I'm onto something here. I think something is happening. And so it just kind of became a part of who I was. And from there, it rolled into the Make Money and Have Fun Mastermind, which is now what I run. It rolled into this webinar, which you're a part of. And it's becoming the Make Money and Have Fun book, which is going to be out at the end of this year, my 3rd book being written. And it was interesting because I looked back at the winter of 2018 when my entire business at that point, my entire life, everything that I built up at that point came crumbling down around me. And I sat there flat broke. I mean, literally, I remember the date, the specific date. It was December 17th. 5 days, December 17th, 2018, 5 days after my 24th birthday. I was in Las Vegas, Nevada. I was at a seminar. I was not gambling. I was at a seminar in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I realized I had $57 in my bank account and to my name at that point. I literally did not have another penny on the face of this planet in my name at that point. And I had another day left to go in Vegas. And I mean, I was sitting there like thinking, how am I going to get to the airport from here? You know, this is not a good place to be and be broke. If I were at home, it wouldn't have been as bad. But in Vegas, I'm like, man, I can't even barely get an Uber ride over to the airport. I had to borrow from a friend of mine who was there with me. I asked him if I could borrow $100. He gave me a $100 bill to borrow. And this is so embarrassing. It took me months to pay him back. Months to pay back $100. I mean, 3-4 months later, he was texting me and I'm like, dude, I'm getting there. It's just tough. It's just tough right now. And, you know, I say this not as a sob story, but because when I came up with Make Money and Have Fun, I thought back to that moment. And I realized that, yeah, I had done some stuff wrong with real estate investing. Yeah, I had made some mistakes along the way. But what really was happening was I had not yet stepped into my sole purpose. I had not yet become who I was meant to become. And that was the most liberating thing to me when I created Make Money and Have Fun. And as it started to gain traction and take off, and I started serving people with this and seeing the impact that it had, I realized, like I said earlier, the feeling is different. The feeling is different. Nothing else really changed. See, I tell people I do two things on a daily basis. I make money and I have fun. Most people think that means I don't work. Not even close. See, the game is not about trading in your work for play. The game of your life and of everybody's life is trading in the work that you don't want for the work that you do want. One of the problems in our society is we subscribe to a mantra or a dogma that I'm sure you all have heard before. And it goes like this: do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. That is the biggest bunch of malarkey I've ever heard, right? Cross that out. If you wrote that down, cross that out. Here's what I want you to write down. I want you to write down the tweak to that phrase, because I've changed it, because I lived it and I realized that that's false. Do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. That's a falsehood. Don't believe that. This is how it should go. It should go like this: do what you love and you will work every single day of your life, but it won't feel like work anymore. That's the difference. That's the difference. The difference isn't that you stop working. It isn't that you traded in your work for your play. It's that you found the work that you love. We've all had those moments. I've had them before. Those moments where you're up, you're in the zone, you're like laser focused, you're in that flow state, if you will. Some people call it a flow state. And then the next thing you know, you look over at the clock and you're like, whoa, it's 2:30 in the morning. I just spent 6 hours on this one project. How the heck did that happen? Right? We've all been there. I can't see everybody, but hands to the camera if you've been there before. I've been there. I've had it happen multiple times. Conversely, we've also had times where we spend 5 minutes on something, get frustrated, throw the book in the air and say, screw this, I'm out. Right? We've all had each of these opposing scenarios. One where we can't focus for an hour, and other ones where we're so deeply entrenched that, I mean, someone will have to throw a rock at us to get us out of that trance that we're in. My question that I asked myself, and that I want you to ask yourself, is how can I create those moments intentionally? How can I create a lifestyle where everything that I'm doing is something that I get sucked into, something that I'm pulled towards, as opposed to having to push myself to do? This grin and bear it mentality, this show up with a smile on your face, even though you hate it, mantra, philosophy, belief system that we subscribe to, is totally a falsehood. That's why it's make money and have fun. It doesn't mean financial literacy. It doesn't mean that you need to make $100,000 a month to be happy. Maybe that's what brings you happiness, and that's great. If that's your goal, fantastic. If your goal is $2,000 a month, that's great too, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you want to create pet rocks, or if you want to sell bottle caps, if you want to end world hunger. It doesn't matter what your mission is. It doesn't matter if it's a nonprofit, if it's a 100% philanthropy-based business. It's about you. It's about creating that feeling. So on that note, if you haven't gotten the blueprint yet, let's get the blueprint. Check in the chat box. Text the word blueprint to 215-596-1515. We'll send it right over to you. This is my hard version, but I'm actually going to share my screen right now and bring it up because I want to show you what we're going to be focusing on today. So let me share my screen right there. Perfect. So this is step one. What do you do? I've mentioned this before, but I'll say it again briefly. Most people who, I'm going to turn this off for a second just so you can see me. Most people who talk about passion, they talk about finding your why, they always ask the stupid question, well, what do you like to do? It's like, well, if I knew that, I wouldn't be coming to you for advice, now would I? So I ask a different question. And that question is, what do you do? Right? What is your thing, your one thing that if you did this would change that feeling for you? Guys, I want you to take your time with this. We're not meeting here again until next Tuesday, unless you come hang out with me on Facebook or schedule a call with me or whatever. But for the most part, we're not going to see each other again until next Tuesday. Take your time with this question, right? I didn't put a whole lot of lines here, but I could have. I could have put lines all the way to the bottom of this page. And I asked it in two different ways. I want you to write your purpose and passion in one sentence, right? This is basically simulating the same experience that I had. In 4 words or less, describe who you are and what you do. For me, it was make money and have fun. I want to do this. I want to run these webinars. I want to hold these masterminds. I want to educate, inspire, and serve others to create their own financial fulfillment in their life. That's my why. That's my thing. Yours doesn't have to look anything like that. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to, number one, I want you to let go of everything in here that could be a limiting belief to you. And there's only a couple different ones. One is you don't believe that your thing is monetizable. Your thing is able to become a business. And I want you to look around at all the people that prove you wrong. Here's one, Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk, the skateboarder. Tony Hawk was making $150,000 a year at 19 years old for skateboarding. For skateboarding. Look at Oprah Winfrey. Look up her story, for one. Look at Mother Teresa. I mean, there's so many people out there. The guy who invented pet rocks, right? There's a whole bunch of others. I mean, a couple of them are eluding me right now. Chia pets. What the hell is a chia pet? Someone actually built a business around growing a plant to look like Scooby-Doo's face. Like, it doesn't matter. Guys, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you want to sell bottle caps, if you want to start a worm farm, if you want to, whatever, if you want to capture air in a jar and sell it to people. It doesn't matter. There's a way to monetize it today. Today, communication and transportation is faster and easier than it's ever been at any other time in human history. So there's always ways to monetize it. If you can't figure out a way to monetize it, teach it. You can always teach it. So what I want you to do really is think about the things that light you up. And the reason the question is phrased like this, what do you do? I'm a firm believer that we are already living our passion, right? We're already stepped into our soul purpose. We're just living it at such a small degree that we can't always see it. We can't always see it. Here's the perfect example. My dad is a professional musician. My dad plays guitar. He's a professional guitar player. And he used to tell me a story about how when he came home from school, he went to school for accounting. He was an accounting major in college. And he used to tell me the story about how when he would come home from school, he'd open up his accounting book and he'd be flipping through it. And he'd just get frustrated. He'd get stressed out. He'd get anxious. He would feel that weight inside of his chest. And you know what I'm talking about when I mention this. It's not really well articulated, but you can understand it at that level of feeling. You understand that you're pushing yourself through something. You're forcing yourself to do something that you don't like. And what happened in my dad's case is he would take his accounting book and throw it in the corner because he'd get so fed up and frustrated. And then what would he do? He would open up his music book and start playing his guitar. That's a sign. That's a signal. That's your body telling you something, your brain telling you something. It's telling you that you were pulled towards this thing. In his case, it was music. And he had to push himself to be an accountant, to do accounting. That's the real difference. That's what I want you to think about. Think about what are you already doing throughout the day that lights you up, that juices you, that just jazzes you, that just gets you going. You're in the zone because of that thing. Now, how can you create more of that? And how can you monetize it? How can you turn it into a business? That's the question that you're asking yourself. The second way I put it is, what can I fully, let me bring it up. What can I fully immerse myself into and never get bored or tired of? If you were here for week 1, we talked about purposeful immersion. Immersion is quite a word. Immersion doesn't mean a touch. It doesn't mean contact. It doesn't mean light. It's full on. It's all in. If you were in Vegas right now, like I was when I had $57 in my bank account, if you were in Las Vegas right now and you had $1 million to bet on yourself, and all the tables in the casino are a different part of your life, different things that you do throughout the day, what's the one thing that you would bet $1 million on yourself that you would be able to do for the rest of your life, or you would love doing for the rest of your life, that you feel pulled towards? That's your challenge. Your challenge is, I just gave you $1 million in a briefcase. You have $1 million in a briefcase and you got to bet on yourself, but it has to be only one area of yourself. What is it? What is it? And guys, here's the greatest part. It's okay if you get this wrong. Because you know what happens if you get this wrong? In reality, here's what happens if you get this wrong. If you get this wrong, you come into the casino and you go, hey man, I bet on the wrong table. Can I get another $1 million? And they go, yeah, sure. Try another table. That's the funniest part. That's the most amazing part, is you can get this wrong, right? Because there is no failure until you've given up on yourself. See, for me, I failed my real estate investing business. If you plotted it on a chart, if you gave me a line chart to plot my real estate investing business and you plugged in the analytics of it, you would look at it and go, dude, this is a failing business. Put it next to Apple. This is a failing business. Put it next to Amazon. This is a total failure, a total dump. You wouldn't buy stock in my real estate investing business. You wouldn't buy equity in it because it's a terrible failure. But for me, it was a huge success. It was a huge learning experience. It was one of the greatest things I've ever done in my life. And I'm so thankful and fortunate for it, because without it, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be sharing this message with you right now without having gone through that experience, without having learned what I don't like. It's like food. How do you know what food you don't like? You put it in your mouth and you chewed on it. You tried it out. You tried it out and you figured out, I don't like it. What happens if you don't like it? You don't die. You don't give up. You don't just stop eating and say, oh, I don't like potatoes. I'm never eating again. That's it. I'm done. I'm out. See you. Goodbye. I'm out. No. You eat all the other foods. You try everything else. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Right? Even if you bet on the wrong table, even if the bet that you place on yourself doesn't pan out, place another bet on yourself. Place another bet on yourself. Place another bet on yourself. Because you're the only thing worth betting on. That's it. That's it. That's why I spend so much money on myself. That's why I invest in so much education. People look at me wide-eyed with their jaw to the floor when I tell them I spent $50,000 on myself in 2020. I spent $50,000 on my own personal education. I hired coaches. I purchased courses. I went to webinars, seminars, events, you name it. Bought books, right? I do some stuff for free. I watch YouTube videos, right? You can do that. But I know that I'm a good bet. That's the difference, is I know that I'm a good bet. So when someone comes to me and they say, yeah, I'll coach you. I charge $10,000 for 8 weeks of coaching. And I go, here, put it on this credit card. The reason that I'm doing that is because I know I'm worth that bet. I'm the only thing worth betting on. That's why I don't gamble at casinos, because there's no me option. They have poker tables, they have blackjack tables, they have roulette, they have all kinds of different things out there, but they don't have any me. If they had me, I put everything I have on it. I go all in. I'm going all in on me. That's the difference. I understand the return on investment because I know I'm going to do the work. I know I'm going to pull through with it. I know I'm going to make it into something that changes me. And really, that's the reason why I started the Make Money and Have Fun Mastermind. I want to talk to you about a mastermind and what it is real quick. So a mastermind, I think, is an underestimated word today. A lot of people don't fully understand it. A mastermind is about putting yourself in a room full of people who you have respect for and not necessarily influence over. Let me say that again. Put yourself in a room full of people that you have respect for, but not necessarily influence over. See, the cool thing about the mastermind is the mastermind is just a table. It's a round table, a kitchen table full of people that you are seeking counsel from, full of millionaires, billionaires, business owners, entrepreneurs, investors, coaches, consultants, authors, speakers, you name it. People who have played games that you want to play and are winning, right? Think about it this way. If you want to be a professional football player, if there was a mastermind with the New England Patriots sitting around a table and you came in and sat down at that table and said, hey, I want to join the New England Patriots. How do I do it? What kind of advice and counsel do you think you're going to receive, and wisdom do you think you're going to receive from that? That's what a mastermind is all about. It's about bringing whatever it is you have to the table, whatever questions, concerns, problems, advice that you need, something that you need help with, to the table, and allowing the collective mind to now help you, to now give you more than you could ever give to yourself. I say this a lot, but I think oftentimes it falls on deaf ears. So just listen in on this one. A mastermind, in my opinion, is an environment where 1 + 1 = 3. And the reason for that is because one mind trying to solve a problem, trying to overcome an obstacle, trying to overcome a challenge can only go so far. 2 minds can go further, but a collective room full of minds operating on that one challenge, that one problem, creates something new that can't be created without the collective. It's amazing to see what happens with the people in my mastermind. It's amazing how I give a piece of feedback and then I hear somebody else's piece of feedback and then I go, oh, wait a minute, Cassandra, you just said the best thing. You made me think of this. And then we get this synergy going on in this flow, and everybody is focused in and dialed in specifically on you. Here's what happened. I have a good friend. His name's Dr. Greg Reed. I'm going to tell you a lot more about him in just a minute. And by the way, you want to hear this because this is super cool stuff. I'm actually inviting you to something really cool. So Dr. Greg Reed invented something called the Mastermind Association. What the Mastermind Association is designed to do is to create masterminds that work, masterminds that get results. Because I have sat in plenty of masterminds, plenty of group coaching sessions where people are just airing out their dirty laundry. They're just talking about whatever nonsense, and there's no productivity. There's no results-based learning going on in there. So I actually went to Dr. Greg Reed and I got certified. I'm a certified mastermind facilitator, mastermind leader under the Mastermind Association. I learned their rules, I studied, and I went through their certification process, and I got certified under Dr. Greg Reed as a mastermind facilitator. You can actually see right here, down here, my badge. It's kind of hard to see in my background, but I have a little mastermind facilitator badge, which, what does that really mean? What that really means is I'm following these rules. I'm following these methods that were actually put in place by Napoleon Hill in his classic book, Think and Grow Rich, that Greg Reed just kind of unearthed and brought them to the forefront with the Mastermind Association. And I'm running the mastermind in a way that is conducive for you, right? It's about you. You get your time in the spotlight. You're not going to get lost in the shuffle. You're not going to be forgotten about. You're going to be spotlighted. You're going to be highlighted, and you're able to bring whatever you want to the table. We have people that are running multiple businesses, and one week they'll come in and they'll talk about whatever, their real estate business. The next week they'll come in and they'll talk about their cryptocurrency business. They talk about long-term goals. They talk about short-term goals, things that immediate. Hey, I need help with this thing today. What do you got for me? Bring it to the table, bring it to the room, and we help them overcome that obstacle. Right? We help them take it to the next level. We help them think of things that their one brain couldn't think of on its own. Or they'll come to us and say, hey, here's the long-term vision. I want to build this massive movement and I need your help to get there. Right? So it all changes. It's all about what you want, what you're looking for in that. And that's the cool thing about a mastermind. I had somebody say to me, hey, I sat in one of your masterminds and it looks like it's all about real estate, right? And I said, no, that's actually the furthest from the truth. My mastermind right now has some real estate investors in it. So they asked about real estate. But I said, the mastermind is whatever you bring to the table. If you're a chef, we actually had a chef come in one week and she was talking about she wants to cook, but not use her time to cook. It was a really cool discussion that we had about leveraging her time, hiring employees, paying people on commission, creating phantom losses, all kinds of really amazing stuff for her to come in. We have other people who are real estate investors. We have people who are just getting started in business. We have people who are growing their business, scaling it, trying to take it to the next level. People who are millionaires, people who are on their way to becoming millionaires. So it doesn't really matter where you are. It's all about what you want to get out of it, right? You hear all the time that your network is your net worth. You are the sum of your 5 closest friends. Let me put that a different way. If you are in a room with 4 broke people, you're the 5th. Conversely, if you're in a room with 4 millionaires, you're also the 5th at that point. The company you keep is what matters. Here's what I'm going to say. If you're not already in a mastermind, I recommend getting into one. I have one, obviously, that I created. Here's the deal. I made this super simple. It's $2,500 for 6 months. 26 weeks. We meet every single week in the mastermind via Zoom, just like this, from the comfort of your own home, the beach, the mall, the shop, wherever you're at in the world. You can join us every single week. And it's designed to grow you, to move you, to expand you to where you want to go. The other really cool thing that I do with my mastermind that I'm pretty sure most other masterminds out there are not doing, I pay you. So this is a mastermind where you can actually make money as a member, right? For bringing people in, for referring people to me, for coming up with marketing strategies, marketing campaigns. I'm paying people anywhere between 20 to 40% in their pocket. That's $500 to $1,000 to put it into brass tacks for you, right? So you have the opportunity to make money with it, and it's $2,500 for 6 months. If you have questions about it, if you want to be a part of it, let me know. Send me a text to that same number, the 215-596-1515. You'll see it in the chat box, and just say, hey, I'm interested. I'll jump on a phone call with you. We'll jump on a phone call together and we'll just chat about it. Right? Obviously, I can't sell you anything anymore because I just sold you. So I'm not going to try to sell you anything, right? Ask me whatever questions you have. If you're interested, let me know. And, that's as far as my sales pitch goes. And honestly, look, here's the thing. The mastermind in my, when I created it, I wanted to make it $5,000. And I think that it's worth $5,000 easily. I made it $2,500 just to make it accessible to everyone. I'm like, what can I do to give somebody this crazy, ridiculous offer to come be a part of us, to come hang out with us, and to be a part of this for 6 months? Guys, 6 months, every single week, you're out there with us. And I'm actually looking at possibly meeting twice a week for a couple different things at this point. This is getting it on the ground floor. Look, in a couple months, it's going to be $5,000. Like I said, that was originally the intent. But I want to make it accessible to everybody out there. $2,500, 6 months in the mastermind, opportunities to get paid. And there's even another opportunity to actually facilitate your own mastermind in there, which gets you paid even more. So there's all kinds of amazing stuff going on in there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The other thing I got to tell you about this. So I actually have a really cool thing going on with Greg Reed, the person who certified me under the Mastermind Association. So we're pretty much wrapped up. I want you to look at your blueprint this week. Pick a time, give yourself a few hours, go over step 1. What do you do? The big question, answering that big question for yourself. If you have any questions for me, text me. You got my number? That goes right to my phone. It doesn't go to my team. It doesn't go to my assistants. It comes right to me. I mean, I have all the people who texted in at this point, the word blueprint. So just text me right at that number. You're good to go. But here's the thing. Greg Reed is actually talking to my mastermind members tonight. So it's in about 10 minutes from now, 7 p.m. Eastern time, my time. Here's the deal. It's free for my mastermind members. I wasn't going to open it up to the public initially. It was just going to be for my mastermind members only. But I decided, you know what? I want to give everybody a chance to be a part of this. So I did it as cheap as I could for the public. Literally, you ready for this? $19.99. Less than 20 bucks. Okay, I'm going to send you the link to it right now. If you want to be a part of it, just fill it out, pay the $19.99, click on the Zoom link, boom, you're with us. That's it. Right? Super simple. I'm putting it in the chat box. Like I said, this was the cheapest I could do it. And if you want to come hang out with us, by the way, if you don't know who Greg Reed is, he is an author, been featured in over 100 books. He's a filmmaker. He's a motivational speaker, considered one of the top by Forbes and in the top 10 by Forbes. So we got really cool things going on. I'm just super excited and super glad you're all here with us. And on that note, I'm going to end about 5 minutes early today. So that gives us about 7 minutes left over. I want to hear about you guys. JW, Kevin, Marco, tell me about you guys. You're here for the first time, I believe. What did you guys think of tonight? Unmute your microphone. Say hello. If you can. I know some people are at work. Cassandra, what did you think of tonight? I know Cassandra's always here every week hanging out with us, doing super cool things.
Tonight was really good. I, in particular, put down one quote that you said that I'll probably add on to the things, some of the things that I send out as an inspirational. There's no failure until you quit. So
Exactly.
keep moving through. But you have a lot of great nuggets. So thank you for your time.
Thanks for being here. I love it. JW, Kevin, what about you guys? Are you able to unmute yourself? Say hello. I know JW.
Yeah, I'm stuck on a conference call. I'm working right now 4 to midnight, so I can just say a quick hello.
I'm glad to have you here. Thanks so much for being here, even though you're working. That means you're an overachiever, Kevin.
Yeah. Multitasker.
I love it. Oh, Mike's here. What's up, Mike?
Don't ask my wife though.
I won't tell her.
All right.
What about you, JW? Can you unmute? I know you said hello in the chat box. Maybe not. Maybe not. Mike's here. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Fred. I was having an issue with my Zoom. It wouldn't let me in.
Interesting. Are you hanging out with Greg Reed in a few minutes?
I'll see if I can.
Yeah, just click on the link in the chat box.
Okay,
It's right over there.
All
I'm
right.
gonna be jumping off in like 3-4 minutes.
Okay.
Just because I want to make sure I'm there on time for him.
Yeah, no problem. It was just a quest to get on for a minute. Damn it.
Yeah, that's the challenge, right?
Yeah, right.
That's all right. Send me a message on Facebook. I'll send this recording over to you. So
All
you
right,
can have
sounds
it.
good. All right, thank
Man,
you.
Mike, thanks for being here.
All right,
No
take
worries, JW. JW, I'm super glad to have you here, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. Cassandra, thanks for coming back. Are you coming back next week, Cassandra? I knew it. I can always count on you.
I will be, absolutely.
Nice. Cassandra, where are you from, by the way?
I'm originally from Sacramento, California, but
Okay.
I live in Birmingham, Alabama right now.
Oh, okay. So what time is it for you there?
It is currently, what time is it? 4? Is it 4?
Wow.
5.
5. All right. It's 7 o'clock here.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's 6 o'clock then.
All right.
Because you're Coast time, right?
I'm Eastern.
I'm Central.
Eastern time.
Okay, so I'm 1 hour behind you.
All right.
Yeah.
That works then. It's not too
Yeah.
bad.
So yeah, I didn't fix my clock yet in my office.
No worries. Clocks aren't really that important. I just look at the stars. No, I'm just kidding. All right. I love it. Cool. I'm going to jump off, guys, just so I can get Greg Reed situated and make sure everything's good to go with him. And we will see you again next week. Thank you for your support. Thanks for being here. And I hope that I'm serving you guys every single week. See you again next week, guys. Have a good one.